Leo, what's up, man?
Keyon Harrold.
How are you, man?
Good. Good to see you.
You too. You too, man. Good
You-
vibes, good vibes.
I was just listening to this conversation you and I had. It's hard for me to believe that it's over 2 years ago.
Which is insane. I feel like it was yesterday.
I remembered certain things that we talked about, but I just went back and listened to some of it because I remember that I asked you about, which is probably something you've had to talk about a lot in your life, about Miles and
Mhm.
about Miles ahead and also the whole St. Louis thing and just like your relationship with Miles when you were coming up. And already you were talking about all this stuff. And then, then I'm looking at your schedule this year and this is the year of Miles.
It's all Miles.
Tell me about it.
You know, Trying to pay homage to the GOAT, to Miles, and spending a year really celebrating everything that he left us and gifted us artistically, in terms of music, in terms of learning what it's like to be an innovator and checking out just the way he thought. We can't ask him how he thought, but we can listen to, what was actually spit out of his brain. So it's been cool. It's been an amazing year in terms of that.
I know one of the things that you do is the Miles Electric Band.
hmm We get a chance to play that stuff, the 70s from the Bitches Brew era and all that stuff to when he passed, all of that music, which is incredible. Most people have never heard it live, so we get a chance to really key in on that.
You play, once again, the role of Miles in the band.
Man, I try to stand on the shoulders and try to be, a really good stunt double by really keying in on what I've learned and what I've absorbed from listening to and learning from, Miles forever, but at the same time be myself respectfully. Yeah.
I think that that is the sort of the deep thing about all of this Miles Centennial and Coltrane Centennial and all these tributes because obviously there's so much great music to play. Miles made so many contributions. He changed the sound so many times. There's so many eras that you can lean into that you could play all his repertoire and you could even do it very faithfully, and that would be a tribute to Miles. But the thing that we know about Miles is that he was always looking forward, and he didn't want to repeat himself. And what he wanted from the people around him was that they were true to themselves.
hmm hmm
So when you pay homage, it's like I imagine you need to think about that kind of stuff too.
Absolutely. And when I'm playing that music and trying to, give it the respect that it deserves, I'm also at the same time thinking, okay, what is Keyon Harrold doing? What am I doing for music? I look at it like when you learn from your parents, they give you all this information and you say, okay, from the age of, I'm gonna say 13 to about 17, I hear you, but I'm gonna try my own thing. I'm gonna do my own thing. And then you get grown and then you move to college and then you meet somebody, then you move out, and then all of a sudden you start calling mom and dad and asking them about what they really meant when they told you this. And then all of a sudden you start to, speak to your kids when you have them and you start to say the same thing that they said. And then all of a sudden it comes together. And I look at it like that with Miles, from what I've learned and what I've taken, for a long time, it was kind of like, man, I can't play like that. I want to do me. I want to do me. Yeah, that's cool, but I want to do me. But as I get older, I realize, okay, that's the source. That was necessary vitamins to my growth. And then all of a sudden, I start to speak like him. And then all of a sudden, I realized that the fact that I took those vitamins honestly, I'm able to speak in the way that I speak and understand that, okay, that's Miles, this is Keyon Harrold. It's a scenario that, okay, I know where I came from, in terms of a family tree. That's the way I see it. And that's the way I really, really appreciate the honor and opportunity to give that music another go for people who never seen Miles live.
I love that. I don't think I ever heard that comparison to finding your sound, especially in jazz, because there's always this question of what to do with your influences. Like, as you say, the more yourself you become, the more willing you are
hmm
to show where you came from and not worry that it's not original.
Come on now, you can only go as far forward as you go back. That's a cliche and it's been said a bunch, but when you realize it, it really sticks. and you realize that, hey, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I just want to roll the way I roll, but at the same time, that doesn't have to detract from what already exists. You take that and you add to the continuum, you add to this amazing array of sonic differences to realize what was the same, so you can see what's going to be different, so you can see what's to come. And I feel like Miles was an incredible example, the epitome of what that is, to be an innovator, the epitome of what it means to start in bebop, to end up where he ended up, and to change music arguably 8, 9 times in between, and to influence the greatest influences in music, from Herbie Hancock to Wayne Shorter to Tony Williams and so many others, and Marcus Miller, that have all really changed the game in more ways than we all know. So, knowing that Miles as a source, not the only source, but as a very, viable source, music is in a better place because of that. I'm a beneficiary of that, and I don't take that for granted.
You're a beneficiary, but early on, for a number of reasons, your path started to intersect with the legacy of Miles. This show that you're doing at Carnegie Hall on May 16th, a centennial celebration. I mean, when I saw that, I said, well, obviously. I mean, obviously Keyon is doing this at Carnegie Hall because you belong to this story.
Man, I'm so excited about this show. I'm going to definitely pay homage to Miles Davis, as his classic Carnegie Hall show is in history. It's in the rafters. So I'm excited to play some music in honor of Miles, and at the same time do my thing and let people know where I come from.
When this first came up, did you have an immediate sense of how you would want to do it, or did you say yes and then have to figure out, okay, what does this mean? How am I going to approach this?
I think it's both of those. One says, okay, man, you should just repeat that concert. The other one says, no, you should take some inspiration and use that and let people know. And then at the same time, show the aftermath of where I've, on how I've benefited and who I am and who I've become in my career.
Carnegie Hall, Zankel Hall, these are very prestigious places to play. Do you ever, when you're in the midst of, getting ready for the gig, packing the suitcase, getting on the airplane, doing the interviews, whatever, do you have moments in your career or in your life when you just stop and sort of get to just appreciate where you are, what's happening, just breathe in the moment
Oh
sometimes?
man, I played at Carnegie Hall 2 other times. One with Most Def, which was incredible years ago. But to perform by myself, that is special to me. As a kid growing up, you always, wonder where will you end up? What will be, concerts that defined you? Just the ability to walk into those hollowed halls are amazing. And it's epic to me. I'm still pinching myself right now as I get excited to perform and think about the repertoire and think about the musicians who are going to accompany me, and to just know what that is going to be for me in my career. I'm so excited about it, man. I'm hyped, for lack of better words.
Tell me about the band. Is basically the band you've been working with?
For the most part, it's going to be the band that I've been working with. Shedrick Mitchell on piano, my brother from another mother. We go way back. He's probably one of the reasons I moved to New York City. Near Felder on guitar, one of the best in the world, period. Bernice Travis on bass, Charles Haynes on drums, special guest, Tiana Major 9, and we'll see what else happens.
Yeah. I know you can't say it all. You don't want to give it all away.
Yeah.
Tell me about Tiana Major 9, because I saw that you just put out a single with her recently.
Yeah, we have a song called Energy. She's just an amazing artist from the UK, just an incredible person. So she was also on my tiny desk with me. So she's just, one of the voices of our time, just special. So I'm happy that she'll be able to spend some time with me that day. Yeah.
When we talked last time, it was the Foreverland season, and that's what you were very focused on. And of course, the record came out and you toured and promoted it for a long time. And I see that this year so far, in addition to the Miles stuff, it's been collaborative little projects that have been taking up the time.
Man, I guess when it's all said and done, I'll be up there in terms of collaborators and collaborations. I've done a lot and I do a lot. I feel like it's important. again, I do my own thing, but I think music is better and more informed when you include so many other people. So again, PJ Morton, we've been collaborating for years, over 20 years. We have new music out, Tiana Major 9, Coco Jones. Unlikely collaborations. I mean, as a jazz musician, most people think you should just play with jazz guys. I don't. I perform with people who do music. Since I'm an artist, not just a jazz artist, I'm a person who use sonics to tell stories and and paint pictures. So anybody who I feel like is cool and vice versa, if they think I'm cool, we get together and we create and we make stuff and we make stuff that hopefully is thoughtful and reflects the times. So as much as I possibly can, I'm building. Have a new collaborative project out now with Sam Barsh and Mark Juliana called Straight '08. That's out right now.
I saw this track that came out with Adrian Casada,
Yeah, Adrian
MFAF.
Quesada, my man from the Black Pumas. That's how we met. I love good music, good people. It doesn't matter if it's funky, if it's electronic, long as it's touching my soul. I want to be a part of that kind of music. It's uber important for me to do my own thing, but it's uber important that people know that I exist in other realms. I love that when I can, perform and create and be in the studio with different people. Again, I've been blessed to work with D'Angelo and Erica Badu and Rihanna and Mos Def and Beyonce and Jay-Z and so many. So I don't limit it to just one thing. And when we think about Miles, he didn't limit it to just one thing. He was able to just grow and keep flooding the pipeline with dopeness. Seriously.
What do you think is the difference between doing what you do on stage and doing it in the studio?
Good question. Man, the stage is how can I forget everything that I've learned and just be a vessel? How can I forget all the stuff that I know and just be a funnel and actually be art in motion? How do I do that? My favorite shows always allow me to do that. I'm not reading music necessarily. I'm not trying to learn what I should play. I'm just existing and trying to be a light. In the studio, everything is fair. You know what I'm saying? Electronics are fair. Sampling is fair. Replaying it is fair. It's the studio. It's us building. It's all ideas are welcome. And we'll edit and find some kind of final form of what we've all thought, collectively, collaboratively,
Mm-hmm.
if with other people and if it's for myself, it's me, in a quiet room choosing this will last forever. This will never be heard.
Mm-hmm.
This might last forever. This might not ever be heard, but to some kind of final state of a song. I love that. I love being able to be there and being able to be a decision maker on, okay, people are going to be, inspired by this. People are going to have the opportunity to review this and live with this. And I hope they can, learn or be inspired or hopefully their relationships can change with either music or with the people they're with. Maybe they're inspired by the lyrics and maybe they're inspired by whatever. So in the studio, we have that opportunity to build the future.
I think there are certain people who just get that for whatever reason and are comfortable in both environments. You love to collaborate with people if you like what they do and they like what you do. Do you think you're attracted to people that also like what you do? Do you find that you tend to find people to
Absolutely.
collaborate with that it's kind of natural?
I think so because we're all out here. We're all out there. You know what I'm saying? If I was the type of person who was like just a one pony kind of
Hmm.
person, I would only be dealing with those kind of people. But I'm the type of person I look forward to the opportunity to collaborate with Nas. He's like the greatest rap, you know what I'm saying? Or Jay-Z. They're like the greatest ever. I'll say this. I've done a collaboration recently, like last week. I can't even say it, but it is the optimal as far as I could be away from what it is that I do. This collaboration exists. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could say it, but it'll come out soon
Yeah.
and it'll be special and it's legendary. I'm always up for that. And that's what keeps me coming back every day. I'm looking for, the opportunities to, to one day hopefully record with Stevie Wonder. That would be amazing. To hopefully do something with Radiohead. I'm looking forward for the opportunities to do something special with somebody who nobody else could actually imagine.
You're actually, by doing this, by doing an interview where you name collaborations that you might want to have, it's a form of manifesting. It's a form of putting it in the universe. Let me say it on the record. These are things that I want.
Absolutely. Listen, man, I had the opportunity, now I'm just talking, to record and vibe out for a day in the studio with Keith Richards.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what I'm
With
saying?
Keith and what? Steve Jordan, you can't even say.
Oh, accordion. Me, him, and Gil Goldstein.
Oh, that's my
You know,
friend.
that's how me and Gil met. No, that's not how me and Gil met. We met doing a recording years ago with David Sanborn. So David Sanborn, that's how I met Gil Goldstein. Anyway, we ended up in the studio and we just jamming.
I will say that is an unlikely collection of people.
Well, the one that I'm talking about is even more unlikely than that. So
Yeah.
there you have it.
I mean, there's some things that you can manifest, and there's some that you could never in a million years predict.
Listen, I was finishing a film score, and I can tell you this: I did the film score for the Locks documentary, Jadakiss Styles P and Sheik Luch. So they're premiering at Tribeca Film Festival, and I'm excited. It's my first feature-length score. I've done a bunch of shorts and documentaries and stuff like that, but this first feature-length, and I was mixing that, and I get a call like, yo, this person wants you to come to the studio tomorrow. I'm like, well, I'm mixing this thing. And then this is the most Hollywood kind of day that one person can have, where I'm mixing this score, and I get the call to come in to record with this person. It's so important that I'm like, okay, I have to mix later. So I moved that, but then after that, I was to have dinner with Neil deGrasse Tyson and a bunch of people connected to William Shatner and other people that we've literally gone to Antarctica together in terms of exploration. I talked in terms about music and sonic explorations. They talked about the ethos. And then we had, Jacques Cousteau's granddaughter talk about everything under the sea. It was just like, kind of crazy, but it is what it is. It happens sometimes.
That's pretty quirky, but it just shows, right, that you reach a certain point where it's like, yeah, this is happening. Can't argue with it. You can just go with it. This is happening.
Yep, yep,
Man,
yep.
that's amazing. Well, Keyon, I won't take too much more of your time. This is great, and congratulations on all the successes and this year of miles that you're in the middle of, and all the collaborations and such a.
Thank you, man. And I appreciate you, man. Hey, great to talk to you.
Yeah,
See you soon and look forward to the next interview. It's always a good one.
yeah, man. Keyon
Yes,
Harrold,
sir.
thanks so much.
My man. Cheers.
Cheers.